Hello, everybody. How
Good
y'all
day.
doing? Welcome to the kickoff of the island with myself, Skipper, and Dr. Anthony. And he has his YouTube on.
But now I don't.
He learned something today. Now he's going to teach us all something, supposedly.
I know nothing. Just because I look the part, I play a doctor at the university.
Oh, you just play it?
I just play, yeah. I wear my doctor's robes when I teach, like all the old time universities do. So I thought I would wear it today, as I'm playing a professor today. Why you mute yourself? Skipper's muted. So
Yeah, I did that.
oh, okay.
Did it for a reason.
Okay.
We got quite a few people in here. We got 14 people
Wow.
that want us to talk for an hour.
Wow. I don't know if I can do an hour. So all I do is talk. I'm tired of talking.
I feel you.
I'm just here I'm the good looks person. You're the talk person. I'm just here to make the channel look better.
I thought it was the other way around.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Y'all think I'm just brains, but I'm beauty and brains.
It's called wisdom. It's not beauty.
No, look at his face.
You can't say you age like fine wine because eventually the wine turns into vinegar.
That's true. That's very true. And my students say I have the personality of vinegar. I'm not sure what that means.
Well, that ain't 5 o'clock yet.
No, it's not 5. It's only 1 o'clock for me. So we're still plenty early.
Oh yeah, it's 4 o'clock here.
Yep.
After the show, I'm gonna cook some dinner.
I'm done drinking coffee. I went to the doctor the other day and he said, "You drink way too much coffee. You have way too much caffeine during the day. So I can only drink coffee in the morning and no more caffeine after that."
Wow.
Yeah, that's rough. It's rough.
And you've probably been drinking a lot of coffee for quite a few years.
Yeah, I drink a pot of coffee every morning.
Whoa.
But it's only half decaf. I drink the half decaf Folgers.
Okay, how does that work?
You buy it, it's called half calf coffee. And it's a mixture of half decaf and regular.
So it still would be caffeinated then. It's not decaf.
I know, but it has half the amount of caffeine as regular coffee.
So pretty much it's labeled that way to make yourself feel better.
Yeah, so I can drink a full pot of coffee. I can drink, it's a 10-cup pot that, 10, a cup is not what Americans think a cup is. Our coffee cups are about 1.5 to 2 cups of coffee, 2 cups of liquid. So I drink 5 cups in the morning, which equals 10 cups.
Well, this is pretty big.
That's about a 2.5 cupper. Hey, I like that cup.
I stole this.
Yeah, where'd you steal it from? I'm not sure where you got that from.
I got this sticker.
Oh, they got a sticker too.
And I guess we're going to start a motorcycle club. We got to get vests and stuff. We got a patch.
That's right. You got to have to have a patch. That's right. Got to have a patch. Yep. Yeah, Stephen, this is a 3-hour stream, isn't it?
3 hours. It's
our first stream. We got to get to know each other. I don't even know this guy. Who is he?
I'm nobody.
This is a new crowd for me. Most of you don't watch my channel, so you got to be introduced to me. And I surely don't watch Skipper, so I got to be introduced to him.
I didn't even know you had a channel until you messaged me.
Yeah, I didn't know you had a channel either because I've never been invited on that channel.
Yes, you have. Well, you really have made me think about that.
Yeah, but then when you have your crew come on, I'm never invited on the crew. I guess I'm not one of the cool people.
Listen, I only have 6 spots.
People think I'm just a stuffy professor. I'm just a normal fish geek like you all.
First, you cried about not being a mod. Now you're crying about not being part of the crew. So I guess the next time I have to feel bad for you and bring you up.
No, but I'll refuse probably.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, I think we should say some hellos.
Okay, say some hellos.
So I'm going to make this easy. Okay, maybe not so easy.
Why?
Anyways, we got Anthony Fishy Friends, Bigfoot Fish Tanks, Killers Aquatics. There's that fella, Colored Guppies, Crypt Keeper Aquatics, Daniken, Jennifer Weaver, Lady Metalhead, Mark Sterelson, S, Mains, Tails, Furs, and Fin. I'm going to say Spaghetti. No,
that's spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Yeah.
We got Scotty the Fish Freak, which he is addicted to YouTube now. Jennifer Weaver, Stephen P, TN Aqua. That's all I see off the participants list.
That's
and
all
B
I got.
Wizzle snuck in.
Yep. The only other one that you didn't mention was Nightbot.
Oh yeah, I should. Well, no, I'm gonna keep that running.
Okay.
Because I want everybody's money.
Oh, is that what that does?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's just on there to let people know about the Keystone Clash.
Okay.
The raffle thing that we're going to be putting on for them. Haven't really been pushing it. There's been a lot of stuff going on in everybody's life this year. It's been nuts. So I figured probably, I don't know, maybe start this Sunday. May push it a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Who's on your show this Sunday? You have a guest?
Oh, yeah.
You don't announce?
Actually, it's going to be Color Guppies.
Oh, okay. Benet. Okay.
And Degenerate Fish Keeper.
2 guests? Wow.
We have something to tell everybody.
Uh-oh. Something to tell.
They're going to have to wait till then.
You can tell everybody where to go, right?
No, I won't do that.
Okay.
No. I'll be nice about it this week coming up. Well, I got to remember that because now there's 2 streams, Sunday and Wednesday, so technically it's next week, isn't it?
Yep. Sure is.
All right. I guess we should tell them what we want to talk about today.
Well, we got to say hi to Window Liquor number 5.
Well, hello, Window Liquor number 5.
Crypt Keeper Aquatics.
You already did that one.
Oh, you say hi to Lady Metalhead?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Their stream the other day kind of got a little wild.
What?
Yeah, she was talking about, it just got a little wild. We don't want ours to go there, so we'll keep it fishy.
Keep it fishy. Yeah.
John McKenzie.
Oh, Johnny boy. Very nice fella.
So you've been here long enough. I don't know half these people, so.
Well, you just need to go into streams once in a while.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Careful, you might get addicted for a minute.
I have been. My wife comes home and she said, "Okay, whose streams are you watching today?"
She watches with you, doesn't she?
She listens most of the time, yes. But when she's here, most of the time I have to put the headphones on because she's doing something. She doesn't want to hear these people. So we're going to talk about, Lady Metal says their streams always gets wild. That's why it's called mayhem, huh? Yep.
That's a lie.
What's a lie?
That comment I put up on the screen. He says, addicted, not possible. Yes, you are, buddy. Like messing with him. So Alishon said, Doc, did Chewy contact you about the Italian Cichlid Association?
He sure did, and I responded back to him. So all is bueno.
And hello, Alishon.
As they say in Italiano, bueno. I think that's how you say good in Italian. It's almost like Spanish. So Anthony's fishy friend said, we have met. I'm one of George's Aquaball friends. Yeah, but I don't remember meeting Aquaball. I just don't. I'm old. I'm feeble. I forget. So howdy, Anthony. I'm glad to see you here. I don't like it when you're in the stream because people say, oh, Anthony, and they say Anthony. Well, that's my name. I get confused. I don't like when someone else has my name.
Well, we call you Doc.
Okay, but still, someone, if I'm watching a stream and they say Anthony, I perk up and I'll get all disappointed when they're not talking about me, because you all should know it is all about me.
Well, it is.
Anytime I'm there, if I'm in a chat, it should be all about me.
Will be today.
Yep. Why? Why me? Why not you?
Well, I haven't accomplished something that you have.
And what is that?
I don't know. You got this award of some sort.
Okay. So we're going to talk about Bettas today, not Bettas, as
Bettas.
Those hillbillies in Tennessee would say, in Pennsylvania. We're going to talk about Bettas. So
tomato.
So, many of you know me as the Dr. Anthony, but, just like you all, I've been a fish hobbyist forever. And probably, about 12 years ago, I started getting addicted to Bettas. It's easy to do because you can house them in small tanks. You don't need, a 55-gallon tank. You can breed them in 5-gallon tanks, 10-gallon tanks. And so like many of us do, we all have addicted personalities. And fish, I could tell my wife, I could be addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, but I'm addicted to fish. And so I can't do things just a little bit. I have to go, I get too much into things. And so that's what happened with Bettas. So I started breeding Bettas and started entering into competitions. So part of the International Betta Congress, IBC. And so in 2000, let's see, when this is 2011, 2012, everybody can see this. There's the IBC for my one particular pair at the International Betta Congress in Jacksonville, Florida. I was the champion. So, Bettas got to the point where they were running my life. When you have 400, 500, 600 quart bottles, quart jars that you have to do water changes every 2 or 3 days, you're spending 8-10 hours a day doing those things, especially when you're doing it by hand. And so I actually started to get out little by little, and I still have a pair of Bettas right now. They aren't breeding for me. The male and female are separated. Maybe when I get back from Peru, I'll start it again. But it's one of those things that if you breed, I want to have the babies successfully raised. I don't want the babies just to, fall to the wayside. I'm not in it to make money. The Bettas, I maybe sold 1 or 2 Bettas when I was raising Bettas, and I gave most of them away. But I like the idea of having fish breed for me, just because I like, as many of you would say, I want my fish to be happy. But we know fish do not have feelings, do not have emotions. So it's our emotions that we worry about. So we want to talk about how to breed Bettas, how to raise Bettas. And so let's hear from Skipper. How do you raise your Bettas? You have a Betta?
I have 2.
2 Bettas.
Both males. I actually had 3 at one point. My daughter had one. It got old. It passed away.
How old was it?
It was about 5 years old.
Yeah, we had when my wife and I got married, our centerpieces were actually Bettas on the tables in bowls, and some of those Bettas lasted 9 years. People had those Bettas for 9 years. Then that's really old for a Betta. In the wild, they probably live 2 years at the most.
I have a dragon scale betta. Very, very beautiful. I want to put it in a different tank so you can see its colors better. But I think that one, years is 22. It's probably going on 4 or 5 years old.
Yep.
And that one's tough, man. That thing took a ride down the tube, got stuck, and I had to get it out, and it's still living. Whenever I was doing water change, twice it did it.
I've had them jump out of tanks, being kind of a little bit of crackery on them, and they've come back to life.
Yeah,
as long as their gills stay moist, and that's the whole idea of them being air breathers. If their gills stay moist, they'll still be able to take in oxygen.
That's cool. And then my son has a Dumbo Betta, and it's going on about 3 years now, I believe. Doing good. Now I have mine in smaller tanks. My son's is about a 3 gallon right now, and the other one is in probably a 2.5. I just do weekly water changes and feed them. They do their thing.
Yep.
But I always wanted. I thought about breeding, like getting different ones, kind of like what Anthony's saying, because I saw these ones on KG Tropical's website, and they're beautiful. The black and white samurais that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Patty. But but I just never did it because whenever I did the research, that's a lot, and I don't have a lot of space for that.
Yeah. You can raise them together, but you will. It's always better to raise them separate, just because it cuts down on the fighting. Even females will squabble with each other, and you get better growth overall for all your fish if you raise them separate. Go ahead.
She says it's a serious question.
Well, so let's go to Patty's question. Feel about flushing dead fish down the drain. If you have a septic system and it's a small fish, you shouldn't have any problems. But if it's a large Oscar, I would not flush it down if you have a septic system. That is just too big to be broken down by your septic system. Now, if you want to put it in a food processor first, then throw it down your drain, you can go ahead and do that. Since it's already dead, you just want to break it up in chunks. But I would, if you have a garden, I would bury your fish in your garden.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a great fertilizer. That's what I do with my dead fish is I will dig up parts of the garden and throw them in our flower garden. And, we have some great flowers now.
Or if you have a compost pile too.
Yeah, but compost pile, especially if you live out in the boonies, live out in the country, if you put meat in compost pile, you're going to attract animals to come and eat that meat. So
yes,
I would not suggest putting in any meat into your compost pile.
Boy, this is chat's going south.
Let's see. Fish will go down the drain, but anything bigger like X's, you have to put in the food processor. Okay.
Hi, Pam.
Yeah. We have a fish-o-matic like they had on Saturday Night Live many, many years ago.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that dead fish can release pathogens into your water. If you have a septic system.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something about a septic system. Whenever you get it drained, it's might as well just say it since they're talking about it.
Yeah.
Patty's talking about it. One time, whenever ours was getting drained, it was time to drain it. They put roadkill in it. so that the bacteria would help break it down and kind of liquefy it so that they could pump it out easier.
Really?
So, now,
well, but
a
if you
city
have good,
sewer system, you should not do it.
no,
No, you should
No.
not. You should bury your fish, and especially in your garden, it'd definitely be good for it.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Bettas.
Bettas. So there are some tricks with bettas. Just keeping bettas, if you want to keep them happy. Bettas are warm water fish. You want to have a temperature of at least 80 degrees. And there is. What are you shaking your head for? What are you doing this for? You think it's lower than 80?
Mine's at room temperature.
Well, you will potentially face bacterial and fungal problems. Now, there's always exceptions. I'm telling you the optimum conditions that I've found with my fish. We all have different conditions. One of the things that we often find, though, is if you have them in the house and your house is cool, especially during the winter time, and you have your bowl hot, 80 degrees, there could be problems with the fish taking in that cold air. Some people have reported, problems if that air above them is too cold. But they're only coming right at the surface, so that air right above the surface water is not going to be that big of a temperature difference. If there's ice on top of the water, yeah, but if you have ice on top of the water, your bed up bowl, then you're going to have problems.
It ain't going to be happy.
No.
Well, actually, my room temperature is about. Actually, it gets pretty hot upstairs because of the radiators. I have a 2-story house, so it gets about upper 70s.
What causes it to get hot?
My radiators, I have
Radiators. Radiators.
It's called radiant heat. Listen,
radiant. So they're called radiators. If it would be called
my language.
It was radiators, you would have radiant heat, not radiant heat.
Skipper emphasis. That's how I think.
That's how Ewans talk, huh?
Yuns. Get it right.
Yuns. Okay. Yeah, and as Lady Metalhead said, they, the lower the temperature, they will become lethargic just because they're cold-blooded fish. They will, their whole metabolism will slow down, and you feed them the same amount that you feed them when it's cooler, that all that food's going to go to waste. And so those are some of the things that you have to worry about is doing your water changes. When I would do water changes in the breeding systems, I would just empty out water. I would never. I know a lot of people have them in bowls, want to clean the gravel really well, but we know when you do that, you're cleaning off all the bacteria. So you're going to start from scratch all over again.
Yeah.
And so just change the water. Don't do anything but change the water. And a good healthy food. Most of mine, I would feed mine freeze-dried bloodworms. They almost look like pencil shavings because they are surface feeders. And even though they will go after food that starts to sink, they are surface feeders. You can tell they're surface feeders by looking at their flat head. That flat head, any fish with a flat head means it's going to be a surface feeder. And that upturned mouth, for sure, that's another indication of where they're going to eat.
I just learned something. That's why my African butterfly fish have flat heads.
That's right. They're and where do they swim? They swim right there on the surface.
Yeah.
So yeah, they love crickets. If you give crickets to them, they're going to go crazy over crickets.
I do. Any
insect that crawls on that surface of the water. And you can do that with bettas too. I would feed mine occasionally wingless fruit flies. You just drop them in the water and they'd kind of climb on the, scoot up top of the water. But I also would feed mine occasionally Daphnia, as well as live mosquito larvae. I mean, that's what they're eating in the wild is live mosquito larvae. And and aquatic inverts. That's really the best food for them.
Okay.
And if you feed them frozen or blackworms, fresh live blackworms, sometimes you can have intestinal problems with them. Bettas are known to get bloat. And an easy way to get rid of bloat is to take green peas, and smash them to get rid of that skin. And that pea meat will actually help them pass if anything is lodged in their GI tract. So that is one of the things that I always use with my fish, at least once a week, once every 2 weeks, is give them, frozen peas, thawed out, but smashed in the finger.
I never did that. Well, I haven't had, knock on wood.
Yeah.
I haven't had to dealt with bloat. I want to comment on this, what she said. Actually, bug bites does make a betta, whatever language you're speaking today, betta food.
Yeah.
You get it.
Well, all the bug bites. I mean, they're that first product in bug bite is going to be black soldier flies.
Yep.
Which is an insect. Actually, when I make my frozen beef heart for my discus, I don't use beef heart, but I use fish. I put about a pound of dried black soldier fly larvae in our food processor. That's why I have my own food processor, and I don't use the one for the kitchen. My wife got a little upset at me one day when I was eating fish food, and I pulled out our food processor that we use to do our normal food processing. So always have an extra.
Yeah.
Extra food processor, happy spouse.
Oh, and I didn't say hi to Kelly Foreman. She snuck in on me. Hello, Kelly.
Uses a frozen. Yep, I feed my frozen beef heart to guests when they come over as a pate for their crackers.
All right. As long as it's pickled, I'll eat it.
No, pate is not pickled.
You got to pickle it and then do it.
Okay, pickled pate. Okay. Now, also, bettas love nice tannic waters. I use Indian almond leaves in all my tanks, especially when I'm spawning. Indian almond leaves, all tannic acids and humic acids from plants are an antifungal agent. So they'll help cut back on fungus in your tanks. What about earthworms? Live earthworms for bettas are a little too big. I actually buy bags of dried earthworms that I use in my fish food mixture that I make for my discus.
Okay.
But I've never used it with bettas before. Maybe earthworm flakes. There are companies that make earthworm flakes. That may be good, but you're still getting a lot of fillers in that. Extreme makes it. Ken's fish food makes it. You go to I buy fish food in bulk, so I buy from like Gemco. Gemco has flake foods. Pentair Aquatic Ecosystems, which is a aquaculture company, they also sell bulk foods. Live black or glassworms, not blackworms, because it can cause problem. And I've never used glassworms. We don't have glassworms available here in the U.S. very much.
I have to tell you, it's the first time I heard of them.
It's a insect larvae that a lot of times you see them under ice, in fact.
Never knew that.
Yep. So Xanadu, you can use a food processor or a coffee grinder. I just make so much that a coffee grinder, I'd have to do it about 30, 40 times to to do all the food that I'm trying to grind.
Yeah.
And tubifex worms, here in the U.S., it's tubifex worms have a bad reputation because of where they're collected. So tubifex dry is good, but not live. So Patty's anti-tubifex.
I've actually never used that yet. That was given to me.
Is it tubifex
It's the cubes.
Cubes, okay. Well, that's good. Like guppies, I'll use them occasionally for guppies. You can actually stick it on the inside of the glass, and your fish will, you'll press them against the inside of the glass, and the fish will go crazy over them.
I'm gonna try it tomorrow.
Yeah, if I do use tubifex cubes, I will crush them up in my fingers so they'll float on the surface for the bettas. What temperature raising betta fry at? I raise them at the same temperature. I raise them at 80 degrees. Everything with bettas for me is 80 degrees just because I like whole numbers. I don't like 78. I like 80. But that's just, any temperature would be good, just as long as it's above a minimum temperature of 78 or so. I wouldn't go too high. My fish room one summer got up to 105. Yes, it's even though I have it insulated, it's in my garage, and it for summer we had a really bad summer heat wave, and I lost a lot of my bettas because it just got too hot. So you can get them it can get too high for them. Stephen P had a question. I don't see it now because let me go back.
It's on the screen on StreamYard.
Yeah, but I didn't see it. I was on StreamYard, but I didn't see it.
Is beef heart beneficial for any fish?
Beef heart is not beneficial for any fish. Fish have a hard time breaking down beef heart. All that beef heart does, it adds extra protein, and it's used in aquaculture. Add more protein to your feed, you're going to get much larger growth, faster growth. They'll be able to reproduce quicker, and that's why people feed their discus beef heart. You can raise a baby fish, baby discus, and have it breed within 12 months, even as little as 9 months. In the wild, those fish are taking 2 or 3 years to sexually mature. And so your whole life cycle is going much faster. But people breed discus for money. They're doing it as a business. You want to have your young be able to reproduce as fast as you can. Natural environment. There's a question from S.
There's one before
environment. Yeah. I've collected bettas in the wild in Cambodia. They're in small rice paddies, small amounts of water. In the water I was collecting the bettas in was 84 degrees. And so they can handle the hot water. It really depends on what betta you're talking about. Betta splendens is really what I'm talking about breeding. I have Betta hendra in my fish room too. They're about 78 degrees, but there just depends on if we're doing wild bettas, where the bettas are collected, like Betta macrostoma. Betta macrostoma is a cool water betta. You get it up to 80 or 78 degrees, 79, 80, it's going to do very poorly. The grandmaster of bettas, now I can't think of it. He's a friend of mine, and I can't think of his name. He's from Indonesia. Someone put it in chat. Oh man, we have better people. They'll know his name. But when he collects bettas, and he has bettas in his fish room, his betta macrostoma room is air conditioned. It's the only room in his fish houses that he has air conditioned because they are a cool water betta.
Lady Metalhead has a question.
Okay. Well, how do you introduce? I introduce a female betta. Talk amongst yourself. Let me go. I forgot to bring something. So say hi to everybody.
We got quite a few people that came in here. Brooklyn Bell. Let's see. There was somebody else I saw. Oh, we got Bex. How you doing, Bex? And then I saw a comment from Alishon saying that San Francisco BB had glass worms in cube form. They discontinued the line at least 5 years ago. Wonder what their reason was.
Okay, so can everybody see this? This is a cylinder that has cuts in it. And I place this in the tank, put the female inside, and the water will come up to about right there. And this is how I introduce the female to the male. One of the problems is that once you introduce a female and you want them to breed, you have to really look at what's happening because the female will release her eggs inside this container and they won't be fertilized.
Oh.
So when she shows her breeding tube and shows the posture of her bowing down to the male, that means she is ready to breed. If that male has a nice big bubble nest, I pull this out and I always have areas inside the breeding tank, PVC pipes, where she can hide or he can hide. Because if one of them is really not ready to breed, if the female's ready to breed and the male's not, she will beat him up and kill him. If the female's not ready to breed, but the male is, he then will or can beat her up and kill her. So it can go either way. But I make sure that, I see all the proper posturing by both the male and female. I release her into the tank, watch them, see if they breed. And once they breed through their breeding embrace, I give them about an hour and then I take the female out because it's the male in bettas that does the parental care. The female, if you leave her in there, will potentially raid the nest and eat the eggs because, she has all that energy in those eggs and she wants to recoup some of that energy and she will consume the eggs.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then, put her in another tank, condition her again, watch the male. The male most males show great parental care. If an egg falls from the nest, he will go pick it up and spit it back in the nest. And same with the young. As soon as the young start to emerge, he will, if one kind of dashes away, he will take it in his mouth and spit it back into the nest. Then when they go gangbusters and all of them leave the nest, he just finally says, enough. I can't try to catch them all. And once they all leave the nest and become free swimming, that's when I remove the male. Because the male is actually finished with his parental care. And then I will transfer him into another tank. And then I will, feed that tank, do water changes in that tank. And that at the point where there's just too many babies in the tank, I will empty that breeding tank into a bigger tank. So they're coming with their water that they were raised in. So it doesn't give them this complete shock by going into a new water system.
So at what point, whenever you're breeding the bettas, would you start jarring them separately?
I normally jar them once I can tell the sexes. So once you see males developing, and some of my fish is difficult. The pair that I won the championship from were placottes, not placket, but placottes, which is Thai for short fin. So these are short fin bettas, and they're much more difficult to tell the sexes apart. Normally, what you see is the males start to become more aggressive, and the aggressive ones then I separate. But females can become aggressive as well. So occasionally you do get a female in a jar, but once they sexually mature, you can tell that it's a female because you'll see her ovipositor. And so that's with normal long fin or crown tail. Full moon, it's much easier to tell apart because the males are going to start developing those longer fins.
Ratosh asked, do breeders in the U.S. call fishes to just keep the best ones?
Yeah, they do. They're not, when I went to Thailand the first time, I visited a few of the world champion betta breeders. I went to China. I went to Singapore about 15 years ago to judge the Aquarama competition. I judged the tetras, and from there I was able to go to Thailand, and I actually went to the farm of the breeder who won the championship at Aquarama. And on his farm, he must have had 10,000 juvenile bettas in containers.
Wow.
And so at that point, they won't cull them. They will sell them to us, and they will reserve the best fish as their future breeders. And so, America, we do cull our fish, but it's not like we cull and flush them down the toilet. Those are normally the ones that are sold off to, you have to see an aquabid or you give away, or you take them to your local pet store. And that's how we cull. That's how I would cull my fish, just by, giving them to people and keeping, what I thought were the best fish for future breeders.
Yes, Ratosh, sell as assorted. Like a lot of people, They do that with their shrimp.
Yeah.
They call it the Skittle shrimp tank.
Yeah.
Guppies, they'll make a call tank, and now it becomes the mutt guppy tank.
Yeah. One of the things that we see in bettas, though, especially in the koi, things of that sort, is what you see as the color right now may be completely different than in a few weeks. I had a blue and white betta that I have right now that had great colorations, all white body and blue outline on the fins. Well, after I purchased it, within a month, that white body turned into blue splotches. So, bettas can change colors. Their chromatophores do get turned on and turned off during their life cycle. So unless particularly, you've raised these bettas yourself and you've line bred them and you know what color they're going to be, when you buy bettas online, what you get may not be the eventual color of the betta, especially when it comes to white bettas that have any colorations on it. If there is any koi in their lineage, they're going to show up. It's going to change the coloration of the fish.
Marbling.
Marbling. Yes.
And Patty has one that's doing it right now.
Yep.
Never knew that.
And let's talk about some of the bad things that you see in the betta industry, and when it comes to betta competitions and things. There are in the past people who have taken razor blades and cut the fins of their bettas to be perfect fins with a razor blade. So when you enter it into competition, unless you really look at it very carefully, you can't tell that the fins have been cut. Because one of the categories is fin shape. If it's a half moon betta, is it perfectly a half moon, and are all the margins nice and smooth? And does that half moon go all the way into the dorsal, into the anal fin? So you want that overall beautiful half moon shape. And no one likes the idea of doing that to any fish.
No.
It's like some breeders cutting the gonopodium of your guppies. So you can't, even if you sell the males, they'll be sterile. They can't reproduce.
Anthony Fishy Friend says they do that for flower horns also. See, I don't like it. That ain't cool.
Yeah. There some of these competitions. A competition that I went to in Aquamarama those many years ago, the betta champion received $10,000. So there is major prize money in Southeast Asia when it comes to fish competitions. Flower horn competition. I went to SIPS, which is the largest pet trade show in the world, right before COVID hit. I was in Shanghai like 2 months before, the outbreak of COVID in China, and their flower horn competition was, I think, $5,000 for the winner. The arowana competition, the Asian arowana, was something like $25,000 for the winner. So there's lots of money when it comes to fish competitions in Southeast Asia. And so there's an incentive to do those things in people's eyes. After all, it's just a fish. I don't feel that way. That's not. Yeah. I don't feel that way at all. But that's how some of them feel.
Unfortunately, yeah, they do feel that way. This is a tongue twister. He did this probably to see if I can even read it. What can betta people do better to better bettas for better betta industry?
Demand that they do not keep them in tiny containers. That's one thing.
Yeah.
There are some pet stores that I've seen that actually have their bettas in these containers, but it actually has circulating water, so it gets filtered. Stores like that care about their fish, and that's what you want. You want you want to go to a store that cares about your fish. So Alishon, I think, had that question about did I know very early in the chat, do I know Gerald Griffin and Mark Denaro? I know I've met Mark Denaro once. Gerald Griffin actually stayed at my house, so I know him very personally. Gerald Griffin was the big IBC guy for a long time. He's actually an artist. He was a professor. So yeah, he's actually been to my house.
The reason why he made that comment was because Scotty's trying to get IBC involved in the Keystone Clash.
Yeah, that would be good. There may be local, local betta club there in the area. I know I used to be involved in the betta club here called Golden State Bettas. It's no longer around, but there is one in Northern California that is still very active. And so, yeah, there may be a betta club in that area in Pennsylvania or on the East Coast. Karen and Kevin's animals.
Yeah. I think I heard about that before.
And who's Karen and Kevin?
It's a saying of what they call people.
Oh, okay. Okay. I know what a Karen is, but I've never heard it as a Kevin. I thought Karen and Kevin were some YouTube people.
Nah.
Okay.
Wow, we got 10 minutes left. Wow, that went quick.
Wow. I didn't really say much.
No. Oh, Ratosh is saying that in Thailand they've started snake competitions.
Wow. Wow. Is Ritesh, do you live in Thailand?
I forget. But Brooklyn had a question because whenever we was talking about the guppies, whenever they cut that part off.
Yeah.
The reason for that is so that they don't want other people to breed that guppy.
Yeah, exactly. If you cut the gonopodium, that male cannot fertilize the female. And so if you have a champion guppy, you don't want other people to raise that champion guppy and potentially put it in the competition against your fish.
And unfortunately, that's why they do it.
Yeah. And you can't tell. I mean, you're not gonna be able to tell if the gonopodium is cut or not. Especially if you order them from overseas, you get what you get. There's no guarantee you're going to get the actual fish. There are some people who sure are good sellers and you get what you get, but so he's in India. Okay. My grandfather was Punjabi from a little town in North India. But he goes to Thailand. I wish I could go to Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore again. I'd like to go to Malaysia to go look at the licorice gouramis.
Oh,
which are excellent. One of my favorite fish.
The only places I've been overseas is wasn't fun.
Yeah, it wasn't a pleasant experience. No, it wasn't.
Well, on the way there it was. On the way there it was because we got stuck in Shannon, Ireland.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Beautiful country.
Yeah. Yep.
Bahrain. No, you don't want to go there.
No.
Then I was on an island in the middle of the Indian Ocean called Diego Garcia.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And they got some nice fish in the harbor.
Yeah.
If I had if I knew a company that was there, but I mean, it's an island, so, and it's British owned.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be nice to go like snorkeling or scuba diving in the harbor just to see the fish.
Yeah. That's a gorgeous island for sure.
But you get so far out and it drops straight down.
Yep. So Ritesh needs to invite us over to Bangkok sometime with him. Goes there 50 times a year.
Wow.
He pays, we'll go, right, Skipper?
Yeah.
We'll do a live stream from there.
Yeah.
Most
definitely.
Yeah, we'll go to JJ Market. That's the big marketplace that, every weekend they have probably 1 million fish. It's Chatuchak. It's a great place. I have friends still there. Goldfish breeders.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have a friend who is a, champion goldfish breeder who goes around the world in judges now goldfish shows.
I tell you, some of them goldfish, I don't understand them.
Some goldfish I would never keep myself personally.
Yeah. It's kind of creepy. Dee says this is a nice stream. Great idea. It was his idea. He's paying me.
Not my idea.
And Ritesh says they got a variety of Lucky Scrummies where he's at.
Yep.
Eric Wyrock, how you doing? Yeah, that's the ones, Patty. And
The
bubble
bubble
eye
eye.
fish.
I'm afraid the eyes will pop. That's what I'm always afraid of.
It'd be like you'd have to have that fish in a bubble in your fish tank.
And any fish that you breed so it doesn't have the full complements of fins should not be raised. You know, there's the goldfish variety without a dorsal fin.
Yeah, I seen this.
You know, it's no longer a fish. Why don't you make it into a salamander?
Yeah, pretty much.
Make it
Next
into
one,
an oxalotl.
it's going to be a goldfish salamander.
Yeah. Yep.
Man,
So we
some
missed
of the
any
stuff they do.
questions?
No, I haven't seen any more. What I try to do is whenever I see one, I put it up on the screen below us here for you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mark Starson says that he has visited Malaysia and Singapore a few times, but mainly for the food. Well,
Yes. Yes. I like the food there too.
I can't say that.
Chattachuk.
Chattachuk Garden.
Chattachuk. Or the JJ. That's what the common, the people there call it JJ.
Okay.
Don't ask me why JJ.
I was wondering when this was going to come up.
What?
Waiting for this.
What? What does the doctor think about glow bettas? Personally, I don't like the glow bettas just because they are just the standard finnage, spade tails. You know, I don't necessarily have a problem with glowfish in general. It's the evolution of our hobby. If it gets people in the hobby, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I have a problem with, when you make tattoo fish, when you inject designs into the fish. You around where I'm at, you see fish with heart designs tattooed in them. They take an elastomer and they actually inject it with syringes in their bodies. They do that with glass fish. Yeah, after a while, that stuff's going to just basically wear away. It's going to dissipate. And that actually takes a lot of effort to do that because you're going to have to do every fish. I don't really like that, but I don't necessarily have a problem with glowfish per se. I would never have glowfish. I don't have glowfish. But I know a lot of people who've been introduced to the hobby that way, especially little kids.
Me personally, I only had them in my house because of my daughter.
Yep.
And now that she has had them, when they died, I got her a 15-gallon cube. And she wanted different fish. So she didn't go back to the glows. Matter of fact, she wanted the Congo Tetras. She has 3 of them. She's happy. So we got a minute left, but Patty has a question about
Tetrahymena.
Yeah, because actually 5:00, Brianne will be next. So I don't want to step on her.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I know it's a protozoan. It's commonly found in the natural environment. You can find it in pretty much any freshwater lake, a stream, river, doesn't really matter. But I have never come across it in my fish. And so it's, if you have it in your fish, that's not sure how you actually can get rid of it. but it is a protozoan. So anything that any medicine that will get rid of protozoans should get rid of this protozoan. I mean, that's the best advice I can offer you because I've never come across it.
Okay.
So there's no Bree stream today, according to Matt.
I got to cook dinner. I can't
Oh,
get
so he has to cook dinner. I have to go get some things to make cheesecakes for my students. Tomorrow is the last day of classes, and I've been promising them cheesecake all semester long.
That's how you get them to stay in your class.
That's right. And that's the only thing I bake is cheesecake. I don't know how to bake. I cook, but I don't know how to bake much. But I bake a mean cheesecake.
Man, I love cheesecake. That's my favorite.
But see, I can't eat it. I'm lactose intolerant.
Lefty wants to know if you're taking orders.
Well, maybe I'll bring one to the Keystone Clash and I'll sell it to the highest bidder. I'll auction it off. You can tell me which one you want me to make, and I'll auction it off.
Yeah, I'm telling you, cheesecake. Oh man, you put a whole pie of that in front of me, it's going. Rico won't have nothing on me with a cheesecake. Well, I'll have it down quick.
I don't eat it, so my wife likes it. I tell my students I'm lactose and student intolerant, so they have both things going for them when I make cheesecake for them.
Well, all right, everybody. Thank you for taking your time out of your day for our very first episode of Kicked Off the Island with the Skipper and the Professor. I'm going to give thanks to the mods for posting stuff and people for asking questions. Helps keeps the stream going.
And in the comments, any fish you want to know about, let us know.
Yeah. Or email me, whichever.
Yep.
Or email him.
Yep. And watch Skipper stream on Sunday nights.
Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then you have Docs on Mondays at 1, is it 15?
1:15, yes.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or, watch the replay.
Always got the replays.
Yep. Always got the replays.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night. Well, afternoon, evening. Whatever time it is for the replay crew, if there is going to be any, which there probably will be. All right. Goodbye.